in peace. The meeting of the Parliament of the Great Caribbean is set to be realized in the next few days. With the deputies, they will be informed so they can participate in all of those activities. I'm going to give the right to speak to the Deputy Timoteo Zambrano.
The President of the National Assembly, Jorge Rodriguez, in this special ordinary session. Let's listen.
We are at the end of this legislature when we started it with the election of 2020. We were facing two major challenges, I would say, to elect that assembly that meant to annihilate the duality of power that existed at the moment. But also, let's remember, we were facing Donald Trump in that process of elections. A North American president that wanted to send missiles to Venezuela in that moment, in that last month, that was the month of November of 2020. It was a difficult month. We were under the uncertainty of the electoral strategy of the possible re-election for the moment of Sir Trump. We won, we beat Trump, and we won the extremism because we were able to elect in the middle of the pandemic this parliament. This parliament meant with that triumph the defeat, the absolute defeat of the duality of power. We returned to institutions in the country, and Trump couldn't defeat this process with which the Venezuelan society answered and responded to him. But pay attention, 5 years almost from that moment, we are in the face of another challenge. He has blocked what he wasn't able to block in the 2020, and he's doing it now. He has blocked all of our coasts. We have, in real terms, a blockade of the sea, a naval blockade with arms, with weapons that we could say are of mass destruction against the people, that is absolutely has a culture that has been proven in the times of peace. It is a people that never has stopped or has left his borders to go conquer anywhere else, but to liberate. That is the Venezuelan people, but it is the challenge of this assembly. We started it. We started this process not only with the objective of reinstitutionalizing the country. We gave an out to an international community that didn't know how to solve the problem in which they had gotten into, and they also got Venezuelans into. We left the door open so they could go out. They took a really long time in these 5 years on understanding what was happening in that electoral process, and now it is our turn again. And that is why the political response that this parliament has given when it constituted the National Council for the Sovereignty and the Peace. That is our political response to that aggression that we are the subjects of from part of the administration of Trump. We have given a political answer, and we have managed to build an instance in which the country It is an instance in which the country dialogues, and it is an instance in which it can build the great national pact for the next few years, 10, 15, 20 years. It has taken us to that, to give that political answer. So using a fundamental tool that the parliament have, which is the parliamentary diplomacy today, we do of that diplomacy of the parliament, as was well said by our second vice president, to convoke, to call the Parliament of the Caribbean, and I would add to that proposal for us to call the whole Caribbean to the Parliament of the Caribbean that come from Mexico and go through Central America, that allows us also to incorporate the Caribbean and the Caribbean coast that is being assaulted at this moment in a relentless way by the power of the North and, of course, the Great Caribbean. I believe that this complement to the proposal that we have from the international table would give us an arc, an important arc of representation that will not only reference the Great Caribbean but also involve those areas of the north of the Caribbean basin, that whatever happens here will be reflected in an important matter all the way to the Mexican coast and of all Central America. So, President, to that great event, continue in the framework of that parliamentary diplomacy, which is the tool that the legislative world has, where the groups of friendship of the parliament incorporate themselves with the objective of accomplishing a pronouncing of our region of Latin America and the Caribbean, which has always been the contention to the north, and we can't let it go. We have to go to the parliament of all Latin America and the Caribbean, and we have to go to the organizations that do their lives in the region. We have to invite them to that meeting of the basin of the Caribbean and the Great Caribbean, and that is, President, to finish our legislature, which we started confronting Donald Trump, to finish a legislature that is the contention and the definitive defeat of the empire that pretends to come and steal all of our natural resources, that are resources necessary for the equilibrium of the energy of all of the planet. That is the last challenge of this time that has this parliament, which we started on 2020, reinstitutionalizing our country and giving it the political equilibrium to the region. Thank you very much.